Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jan Moses, bringing you the season finale of the salary cap report for Season 2 here in NBA 2K26, My Team. Now, it's going to be a two-part finale because I didn't want to do everything that I had to discuss in one video. So in part one, which is this video, we're going to be talking about some of the players who I strongly recommend you guys should take a look at in the auction house during what will hopefully be a market crash from the Season 2 Super Packs, which are going to be coming out on Monday, November 24th. Initially, I was debating just picking 5 players, but I think we ultimately ended up with, I think it's like 10 or 11 players, maybe 12. A couple of them are going to probably be reach cards, and when I say reach cards, I mean they may still be really expensive, and so for me to say that these cards could be a good value during that market crash that could happen next week could be a bit of a reach. But if their price point hits a price point that you're comfortable with, then by all means go ahead and cop those players. Some of these names are going to be obvious names, but I still want to mention them because we're going to be talking about a number of players across a few of the Friday promos that we got here in Season 2 that at least I'm going to be looking at. And honestly, every single player that I named today in this video are going to be players that I'm going to be looking at for salary cap, and that's why I'm including this in the salary cap report. I think a number of these cards, especially if their salaries drop, and a number of them may already have really low salaries, I just don't own them, so I don't know. But if a number of these players who we discussed in today's video do have salaries that are in the lower end of their salary tiers, and just to remind you guys, Amethyst cards range from 1,200 to 2,000 salary. Diamonds range from 2,000 to 5,000 salary, and I've already seen a couple of the cards in my collection in those tiers have those really low salary values. So yeah, it would be really nice personally if I'm able to add a couple of the cards that I mentioned in today's list. If any of them have lower salaries, they're going to probably be an instant addition to my salary cap lineups for Season 3. Part 2 of this finale is going to include just, I guess, me giving you guys my final lineup update for the season, and then I guess talking a little bit about what I want to see for salary cap in Season 3, because as you guys may know, if you guys have been following the videos that I've been uploading on this channel during Season 2, I've just not been playing salary cap. I mean, I'm still level 38. We have officially less than a week to go until Season 3, and I'm not even level 40 yet. You know, a lot of you guys have probably had Chris Bosh since the first week of the season, and I'm hopeful to add Chris Bosh to my lineup during the final week of the season. So I think that just kind of goes to show, as I almost knock, and I actually do successfully knock my earbud out. I think that goes to show just how little I've played the game this season, and that really does suck because I want to feel the motivation to play this game again, and I'm hopeful that Season 3 will bring that. So with that being said, let's get into it. You guys can see we have Diamond Denny Avdia that we just got from completing the agendas for him. I'm not going to be, again, showing my lineup in this video. I don't even know what Denny's salary is. We're going to take a look at that in part 2. And we also have some packs that we're going to rip in part 2 as well. Let's get into some of these players because we did have a number of really interesting Amethyst cards in the season that came out in Friday promos. We're only going to be talking about promo cards, not wild gem cards, because I mean the wild gem cards, I just feel like there's so many, and I'd rather focus on the Friday promo cards and not the wild gems, because I mean the wild gems, I don't know, I guess I'm just not as familiar with them either. I just don't really care about wild gems that we get on Tuesdays. Honestly, the only interaction I really have with wild gems in this game is whenever I'm trying to, you know, snipe them for the low price. Like any cheap wild gems I can snipe, so I could potentially throw them into the exchange for some of those Tuesday players. And really quickly, let me actually take a peek. I don't think any of these are expiring. You can see I put one player in each of the exchanges for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Scottie Pippen because they were expiring. Putting a card in there does save them. And you can see here all of the Season 2 Wild Gems currently don't have a timer. So while I'm not going to say that I guarantee it, I have a very good feeling about all of these cards that we got as a part of the Wild Gem exchanges. in Season 2 are going to be available at least through the beginning of Season 3. I feel like usually they give us at least like a 1-week timer on anything that's expiring in this game. I would not be shocked if we don't see these cards expire until around Christmas/Hanukkah time. So just keep an eye out for that. But as of right now, don't feel like you guys have to rush to get these agendas or these exchanges done, rather. But again, we talked about that super pack market crash that we could see starting next week on Monday, November 24th. You may want to try and cop some of those gold wild gem cards for cheap. That's what I'm going to try to do whenever I do have a chance to get on the game. Also, really quickly, kind of a side note here. The MyTeam mobile app is going to be coming out a week from, well, I guess for you guys yesterday. I'm recording this on Friday evening, November 21st. But I think November 28th, we're getting the MyTeam mobile app, which means if you're someone that likes to snipe on the app like, like I did last year occasionally, you're going to be able to do so starting next week. So anyways, just wanted to mention that about the exchanges and the MyTeam mobile app. Let's get into the collections, because we can talk about a number of those players from the exchange. I think a lot of them are interesting for salary cap, right? Like Yegor Demon, I think Alperen Şengün, a couple of cards that are really interesting. But those cards are going to be there in Season 3, and they're not really going to be impacted all that much by the market crash that we could see next week. Outside of you maybe sniping a couple of those players from their exchanges and getting lucky. Let's get into the actual players, though, like I mentioned, from these Friday promos. And let's start with Rainmakers, which I believe has 3 really interesting cards. Let's start with one of them who I have as a free agent currently, and that is Diamond Jaren Jackson Jr. He is at 5,000 salary, and his Diamond card last year was at 5,000 salary for a good portion of the year. But there were moments where he dropped down to 2,500 salary, and I think occasionally 2,000 salary. And if this card drops in salary down to 2,000 or 2,500, he's going to become one of the best diamond cards that you can run, especially at that salary, in salary cap, And I think there is a world where we do see the salary go up, like the salary cap rather, go up from 10,000 in Season 3. I don't remember what happened last year. Maybe I can try to go back and look before Season 3 begins, but as of right now, I feel like it maybe went up by like 2,000 or I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I don't want to be quoted on this, but I'm assuming we're going to see some sort of salary cap increase for Season 3. Even then, at 5,000 salary, I'm not too excited about running Jaren Jackson Jr., but I would be happy to get him and then hold on to him and see if I can run him in salary cap once his salary does drop. Marcus Smart, I think, is probably going to be the best value in this set. I don't know how expensive he is right now. He's already not too pricey. He's, I'm assuming, what, 20k? Yeah, 21k, 20k for a holo. Yeah, so we can say he's roughly 20k. Would not be shocked. Like, if this card drops down to 15k, I would consider him. There is another Amethyst point guard who I would rather have, who actually, funny enough, I currently have. I picked him up from the auction house earlier this season. We're going to talk about him a little bit later on, but Marcus Smart, I mean, I loved running his card last year in salary cap. He was a lot of fun to run. This version of Marcus Smart, I mean, I used him a little bit for offline agenda grinding when I sniped him for the Rainmakers agenda set that came out at the beginning of the season. Really fun card, highly recommend. And then Trey Murphy, I have not had the chance to use this card, but a lot of people really, really like him. Very well-rounded small forward card, 6'8". Again, kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of a card, but I think you can plug and play him, and at your small forward position. 89 speed is honestly really good, I think, for an Amethyst small forward card. Really good card, very solid defensively too. 82 perimeter and interior defense. I would strongly recommend looking to pick up any of these 3 cards. And also, I just want to say, I know a number of the diamonds that I am going to talk about in today's video may end up staying pretty expensive, but I'm assuming we're going to see the Amethyst pack odds increase. I don't want to say dramatically, but they're going to probably increase to the point that, they'll get to the highest Amethyst pull rates that we've seen out of any pack this season, more than likely, not including the Hall of Fame boxes. I don't even know if those have high Amethyst odds, but anyways, I do think we're going to see decent Amethyst pull rates from these super packs on Monday. So maybe we'll see some of these cards like Marcus Smart and Trey Murphy drop even more in value. Moving on from Rainmakers, I don't think I liked anybody from the Ignite set in terms of like a lower tier valuable card. Bam Adebayo, undersized, Jalen Green. I mean, if you like Jalen Green, I know there are people that like running with this card, then by all means go out and add him. He is the buy now currently. Maybe he'll drop a decent amount in value. So if you want to add him, you know, I'm hoping he'll be less than 100K. This one has a legend badge. I'm not going to bid on him, but let me see. What is his legend badge? I am so curious. He has legend dimer, dude. This is actually not a bad, dude, not a bad card. I mean, if I liked running Jalen Green, that would be a great one to go out there and cop. But anyways, the rest of this set, really not too crazy about it. I may look to try to add Kyle Korver just for the vibes. Korver's always one of those cards I've enjoyed running with in offline play. We'll see about running with him online. He just doesn't have a lot of badges. Like, it's tough for me to advocate getting Kyle Korver. I don't care how good his jumper is. I feel like he's not going to be great on defense because he's Kyle Korver. And he's probably not going to be fast. What is the speed? Yeah, 74 speed. Not shocked. I mean, yeah, Kyle Korver is a fun card to run offline. I don't know about online. The rest of this set, really not all that exciting. Let's move on to the chill set here. And there are a number of cards here that I think are interesting, including Alex Caruso. I kind of mentioned this when I was talking about Marcus Smart, that there was another point guard who I would rather have between the two of them from, you know, all the Amethyst cards that we got on Fridays here in Season 2, especially for salary cap. And that card is Alex Caruso. Incredible jumper, and he's one of the best point guards I think that you can run in salary cap, especially at his salary, which is minned out at 1,200, which, I don't know, to me is unbelievable. I cannot believe his salary is that low, whereas Marcus Smart's, I believe, was at 2,000. I'm not going to have to talk about this card too much. You guys know how good he is. Go and get him. Let me see what his price is currently. I got him for 15K. I would not be shocked if okay, he's 30K right now. I would not be shocked if Alex Caruso drops back down to like 20K or so during the market crash next week. We'll have to see. I don't know how many people are going to be ripping packs because we'll talk about it in part 2. But the new festival that we got doesn't really seem all that exciting, at least in terms of what we have available to us in the exchange. But people may want to still add that Galaxy Opal Shaq, even if he can't shoot threes. And maybe they want to add that Galaxy Opal Stephen Curry just because, you know, he's a fan favorite, right? So we'll have to see. Other players from the chill set that I think are exciting. I mean, we have to talk about Dylan Harper. I think a lot of people really enjoyed running this card when he first came out. You can see he's still going for a decent amount. I think his first week that he came out, he was like 250 to 350K. And now it looks like he's under 200K, which is not bad. It's going to become a matter of, you know, how much do you want to run with a card like Dylan Harper and what's your price point for him? You know, like, do you want to spend, like, in this case, right, I'd be kind of tight if I was this guy where the Dylan Harper that's finishing a minute before him has no legend badges and is 2,000 MT more expensive. But maybe people are waiting to bid on this card once the other one expires. I don't know. But yeah, 6'6" point guard, really nice jumper. I know people either like his dribble moves or they like his leaner. Again, I don't really know. I don't own the card. I didn't really care to watch any gameplays with him because I don't really have a lot of interest in adding him. At least at that price point, right? If you were to drop to like below 100K, then maybe. But I feel like now that we're just getting Galaxy Opals in the game, we're going to probably start to see more and more cards come out that are in, you know, the diamond and pink diamond tier. We're probably going to be comparable in value and what, you know, in terms of what they provide you on the floor to Dylan Harper, and then maybe we'll see Dylan Harper's price drop because of that. But regardless, just a name I want to throw out there, Harper is arguably one of the best cards in the chill set. So just keep an eye on him. Who else did I want to talk about from this set? Just a couple of Amethyst cards. Matthew Dellavedova, who is right here. Another really solid defensive point guard if that's your vibe. I don't know if I would take him over Marcus Smart or Alex Caruso, but regardless, he's going to be a really good Amethyst point guard. And I may just look to add him because at some point in the salary cap seasons, you're going to get to a point where, you know, maybe, you know, you like Alex Caruso, Marcus Smart, and Matthew Dellavedova like pretty closely. And so maybe if only one of them is at 1,200 salary, like let's say Matt Dellavedova is at 1,200 salary, whereas Marcus Smart and Alex Caruso in that point in time is at 2,000 salary, well, then maybe you're going to want to throw Dellavedova in there just to give you that 800 salary to, you know, work with the rest of your lineup. So Just some food for thought. Like, that's my thought process when I'm looking to add players to my collection during a market crash like we should see hopefully next week. And then the last Amethyst from this set, Otto Porter. Kind of similar to Trey Murphy to me, a card who, you know, I know Otto Porter has a jumper that I like, and he's going to be another one of those jack of all trades, master of none. Although I do think Trey Murphy is going to be a little better defensively. Yeah, he has slightly better interior defense, and he's faster, +5 speed for Trey Murphy. But I don't think Trey Murphy can play the shooting guard position, whereas Otto Porter can. So I think you should factor that in as well. If you know, if you're looking at those two players, you know, figure out what position you need the most help with for your salary cap lineup. There is another Amethyst shooting guard that we're going to talk about a little later, who I am looking forward to adding to my lineup, or to my collection rather, hopefully to my salary cap lineup, that I have not actually really talked about at all this season on this channel. We only have 2 more promos to look at. Oh, funny enough, Chills Festival, I totally forgot to redeem anything else from the exchange outside of OG Anunoby, which is totally my fault. I was just so out on this whole festival. I thought this festival was trash for me, and I have all these collectibles just sitting here that I meant to exchange. So I don't have Ricochet, which is kind of annoying, but it's fine. I didn't really care for Ricochet too much last year. Did not like his jumper at all, but he is a 6'10" shooting guard eligible card. So hopefully you guys got him. I got the one card that I cared about the most in OG, so I'm not too bummed about that. From the Swift set, I don't really think... Oh, no, sorry. I actually do like a couple of cards from the Swift set. A couple of obvious choices. Robert Covington, Stephon Castle. I think they're both going to be very expensive. Oh, never mind. Roko's a buy now? When did he become buy now? Oh, you know why he's a buy now? Is it because he can't play shooting guard? There's something about this card that I remember people not being all that excited about adding him. But I think Robert Covington's always really good in my team. This is a card where maybe if he drops closer to like 30k, I'd be into picking him up, but not too crazy about him at 50k plus. And then obviously Stephon Castle. This card is going to be very expensive, I think, for a while. Probably not going to be a buy now, but maybe he does become a buy now during the market crash next week. This card's going to be a card that you would want to maybe run in salary cap later, but I mean on your main squad too. I mean, this card's going to be one of the best diamond point cards you could run as well. Now, I do know some people were more critical of Castle compared to Dylan Harper. They like Dylan Harper's SIGs better, and I don't think this Stephon Castle is actually as elite on defense as his cards were last year. Yeah, you can see 87 perimeter, 78 interior, like pretty good for a point guard. But I think when people think of Stephon Castle, especially in my team, they think of, you know, an elite tall defender at the point guard position. I'm personally, you know, when I'm thinking of diamond point guards, like while I will keep tabs on Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle's prices, the player I want the most if I'm going to pick up a diamond point guard at some point this year is going to be Dyson Daniels. I got that card out of a random RNG pack, I think during Halloween last year, or Christmas, I forget exactly when. I got that card, and he was an absolute blessing. I loved that Diamond Dyson Daniels card. He was so good. Looking forward to getting him again this year at some point whenever he comes out in a future promo. But outside of those 2 diamonds, there are other cards in this set that I really like, including Derek Queen. I think this card is one of the best Amethyst cards that we got this season, and he's currently only at 1200 salary. This card is a really decent shooter, you know, 89 mid-range, 83 pointer, 6'10" is respectable at the power forward position. And then look at his defense, man. 82 block, 80 steal, 87 perimeter, 87 interior, 84 speed with very nice rebounding as well. I think this card is probably the top card that I'm looking to add amongst all the players that I talk about today during the market crash next week. He is currently, oh, he's only 15, bruh. All right, well, he's pretty cheap right now. He is pretty cheap right now. But you know what? Maybe next week, even if he's not like cheaper, I want to see if someone will end up posting him with some added Hall of Fame badges or something. I'm not in a rush to add him because I'm not playing any more salary cap this season. I think I ended the season playing only 2 games of salary cap offline anyway. So, but yeah, Derek Queen, very interesting card to me. I didn't have him in my notes, but Scoot Henderson, if you like running with Scoot cards, he has 98 speed. He's going to be a lot of fun. Personally, I'm going to be looking to add Emmanuel quickly. I would love to add a hollow version of IQ So maybe I'll throw a bid on that one and we'll see what happens. Either a hollow version or yeah, this one is clean. Okay, there we go. Okay, bid on the video. But we'll have to see about next week. I wouldn't add him to your team otherwise. I'm just adding him potentially to my team because I'm a Knicks fan. Then Tony Snell, he's going to be a really solid shooting guard to run. You know, he has a number of really nice defensive badges, and he is, I think, 6'7" with a 6'11" wingspan. Yeah, really fun card. This is a card that I want to add because, I mean, A, right now he's only at 1,200 salary, and B, when I'm looking at these Amethyst cards, again, like I mentioned, I'm okay with getting a bunch of cards that fill the same archetype, like we talked about the point guards. For me, I like those defensive-minded point guards like Alex Caruso, Marcus Smart, and Matthew Dellavedova. Even if I would prefer Caruso over the other two, I want to have a rotation of them in case one of them has the more favorable salary value. Same exact idea here with a card like Tony Snell, because I like to have 3-and-D wings, and Tony Snell is going to provide exactly that. 87 three-pointer, really solid on the defensive side of the floor. I don't love that he has only 84 speed, but he has a really nice wingspan. But I do think he'll come in second or third place in my Amethyst shooting guard rankings from season 2. And that is because, as we skip past the bounce set, I don't really care about any players from the bounce set. Moving on to today's set, Stardust, the Amethyst shooting guard that I'm most interested in adding to my team is one of the cards who I ran with a ton last year. He had that dynamic duo with Joakim Noah, and I probably ran that duo more than any other duo in my team last year. Corey Brewer, really nice shooting guard card. Loved his jumper. I mean, even without that duo boost active, there were a couple of games last year where, you know, Joakim Noah got injured, which I know is shocking. Joakim Noah never got injured in his career, especially with the Knicks. And Corey Brewer, even without Joakim Noah on the floor, just playing as a regular Amethyst card was so good for me because he's already elite defensively. The main thing that he got with that duo boost was I think a boost to like his badges. But you can see 85 three-pointer, again, a really nice jump shot as well. And look at his defense, man. 89 steal, 88 perimeter, 82 interior, 88 speed. The only thing I don't love about this card is he's one of those players where his wingspan is shorter than his height. I think he has a 6'9" height, obviously. You can read it up right there. But I think he has a 6'8" wingspan, which I am not too crazy about. But yeah, there you have it. And we're at the 22-minute mark. This is exactly why I wanted to break up the season finale of the salary cap report for this season, for season 2, into 2 parts, because I know I like to yap a lot. I apologize for that. But hopefully you guys found this somewhat helpful. If I missed any players from this season that you guys would maybe recommend to me that I look at in the auction house during the potential market crash we see next week, let me know. Again, I'm trying to stock up, you know, load up my collection so that if Season 3 of Salary Cap gives us what we want and gives us a reason to grind the game mode, then I will have the players to hopefully, you know, provide myself with as much flexibility as possible so that we're having really good players in our lineup at all times while also being able, to have, you know, a lineup that's not going to be high in salary. I want to be competitive with as low a salary as possible, right? That's the goal of making salary cap lineups. Hopefully we have a better reward to grind for than we did this season. Appreciate you guys, and I honestly do miss you guys. I miss streaming. I've been really busy, and I just haven't had the motivation to stream just because this season's not been great for me, in my opinion. But hopefully next season will be better. I have hopes that it will be better, and I hope that you guys are just doing well in general. Have a very happy early Thanksgiving in case this is the last video of mine that you see until Thanksgiving. And I'll see you guys hopefully in part 2 of the season finale of the salary cap report for season 2. Until then, though, I'm out. Peace.